Unbelievable speed. Richardson shatters records with season's best 100m heat win. If lightning had legs, it would look like Sha'Carri Richardson. That was the stunned whisper echoing through the commentary box as the crowd stood to their feet, breathless from what they had just witnessed. It was more than just a 100-meter heat. It was an electric display of confidence, culture, and a level of raw athleticism rarely seen outside myth or fiction. Sha'Carri Richardson didn't just run the race. She became the race. The moment that stopped time. It was a sun-kissed afternoon at the Diamond League meet, the kind where the air hangs heavy with anticipation. Every major contender in the women's 100-meter lined up at the blocks. There were murmurs about the times being slow earlier in the day, whispers that the track was dragging, that sprinters weren't getting lift. But none of that mattered the moment Richardson took her stance. With flaming orange hair blazing like a comet against the summer sky and nails sharper than a tiger's growl, she crouched at the start line. Her gaze was forward, unreadable behind tinted lenses. The moment before the gun, she was still as stone, the kind of stillness a cheetah has before it pounces. Then, the crack of the starting pistol. In a blink, she exploded from the blocks with a velocity that seemed almost unnatural. The stands erupted in a collective gasp as she surged ahead of the pack within the first 20 meters. By 60 meters, it wasn't a race anymore. It was a coronation. She didn't just cross the finish line. She burned through it, clocking in at 10.65 seconds, the fastest time of the season so far. A personal best, and just milliseconds away from the all-time records. More than just a win. To understand what makes this moment legendary, you have to understand Sha'Carri Richardson. She's not just a sprinter. She's a story. A story of fire, fall, and fierce resurrection. The fall and the fury. It wasn't long ago when Richardson became the face of controversy. After qualifying for the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 with a blistering performance, she was suspended following a positive marijuana test, a rule she admitted to breaking amid the emotional toll of losing her mother. Social media lit up with debate. Critics called her reckless. Supporters rallied behind her, decrying outdated policies and celebrating her openness. Through it all, Richardson didn't hide. She faced the cameras, admitted her mistakes, and vowed she would return. Faster, smarter, stronger. But then came a rough 2022 season. Injury. Inconsistency. She missed key races. Media began to shift from curiosity to criticism. Overhyped, some said. A flash in the pan, others muttered. But they didn't know what was simmering beneath the surface. The comeback queen. The 2023 and 2024 seasons were different. You could see it in her training videos. More focus, more discipline. Her social media tone shifted from reactive to reflective. She took control of her narrative, let her legs do the talking. And now, in this defining 2025 heat, everything has come full circle. 10.65 seconds. Not just a number. A declaration. A thunderclap. A warning shot to the world. And she didn't stop there. With her signature flair, Richardson crossed the finish line, flicked her hair, and pointed to the clock. She didn't need to celebrate. The time spoke for itself. But as always, Sha'Carri added her own poetic touch. I told y'all. I'm not back. I never left. I just had to remind you who I am. Cultural icon in spikes. What makes Richardson such a phenomenon isn't just her speed. Though her speed is near supernatural, it's her style, her presence. She's a beacon for unapologetic self-expression in a sport often known for its mechanical professionalism. From her ever-changing hair, neon green, fiery orange, icy platinum, to her claw-like acrylics and bold lashes, Richardson embodies the energy of a generation tired of asking for permission. She carries the swagger of Serena, the individuality of Dennis Rodman, and the defiant brilliance of Muhammad Ali. But make no mistake, she's wholly herself. The science behind the speed. Coaches and analysts have tried to break it down. How does she generate so much force so quickly? How does her acceleration curve rise faster than nearly anyone else in history? Biomechanists point to her near-perfect stride frequency, over 4.6 steps per second, elite reaction time, and uncanny ability to maintain velocity in the final 30 meters, where most athletes fade. But perhaps the most underrated weapon in her arsenal is mental grit. Sprinting is not just physical, it's psychological warfare. 100 meters of perfection, or it all falls apart. Richardson runs like someone who knows exactly who she is. And in this sport, that's power. A race that changed the season. Her 10.65 doesn't just place her at the top of the leaderboard. It shakes up everything heading into the World Championships. The message to her rivals is crystal clear. This isn't just a comeback. It's a takeover. Jamaican legends like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Elaine Thompson-Herah, long seen as the queens of sprinting, now face a fired-up Richardson at the absolute peak of her form. This isn't a rivalry anymore. This is a collision course. Why this win matters? In a sport often dominated by millisecond margins, Sha'Carri Richardson just carved out a chasm. She's no longer the rebel trying to prove herself. She's the standard. And as young girls across the world watch her race on repeat, mimicking her start, her swagger, her unfiltered joy, it's clear she's become something more than an athlete. She's become a symbol of second chances, of speaking your truth, of burning bright, no matter the storms. Final thoughts. When flame meets track, there are sprinters who run fast. And then there are sprinters who change the way running looks and feels. Sha'Carri Richardson's 10.65 wasn't just a race won. It was a moment captured in fire and flight. A reminder that greatness doesn't always follow a straight path. But when it arrives, it needs no explanation. Track meets will come and go. Records will rise and fall. But that flash of orange across the line, like the tail of a shooting star, will be remembered long after the clock resets. Sha'Carri didn't just win. She arrived. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.